Some research that we recently conducted with market leaders showed that 4 out of 5 were planning to increase the amount of client feedback they did throughout 2015. They also cited client feedback as the second most important priority for them after client service.
So we've created a very simple framework called the Golden Triangle, which basically links these 3 central tenets of clients, employees and profitability. And what we say about that is all of those 3 things are interlinked. So you can't have a healthy profit without satisfied clients and engaged employees. Traditionally, those 3 things have been somewhat in conflict. So firms have tried to drive profitability by working their clients harder or over-servicing or under-servicing clients. But actually, to really be a successful firm for the 21st century, you need to get those 3 things in balance.
I think client feedback programs are becoming much more integral to firms' business strategies. We've seen that they're moving away from the annual long surveys and having a much more regular dialogue with both clients and employees. And I think the biggest change that we've seen recently is a move towards collaborating and coordinating client and employee feedback together.
Being able to understand how your inputs at the employee level impact upon customers, how that impacts upon financials, is in principle a fairly straightforward thing to do. In practice, it can be more difficult.
We find that a lack of planning up front in how firms are going to deal with the feedback means that individuals can often get swamped with surveys and data and trying to understand it all. Clients often say to us that their client feedback, their employee feedback and the financial data often sit within different parts of the firm, it's collected at different times and is on different technology platforms.
As one of the participants in the panel session said, people buy people. And so the relationships between your employees, your clients and the financials are very free of noise. If you investigate the relationships between those, you can find quite strong associations and you can really narrow home in on those things that are really making a difference. And those things tend to be around behaviours rather than attitudes.
The Golden Triangle approach to feedback incorporates employee, client and financial information. Now, the benefit of incorporating the financial information as well means that you can assess the impact of collecting client and employee data on the bottom line. Compass is a technology that allows you to incorporate all 3 elements into an easy-to-use platform. And where Compass is unique is it allows you to assess the profitability of projects or teams. And the goal of this is that by doing that, you can understand what behaviours highly successful teams exhibit and embed these across the firm.
We had a very stimulating panel discussion, and we're now going to hear some of the key takeaways from that panel discussion.
Well, I thought how interesting it was that all the panellists said that the little big things were so important within their organisations. The small service improvements that are done well can have quite a big impact on both client service and profitability. And I was interested in that they included things such as smiling at clients when they come in, always responding to emails even if you can't necessarily help the client straight away, but just to acknowledge that the email has been received. One thing that I thought came across quite clearly was that they wanted to create a culture that employees were happy to work in, and they also felt comfortable to be open and honest with their colleagues when things were good, but also when things maybe weren't being done so well.
I think the concept of bringing together the Golden Triangle is a really powerful concept. Firms that I see really embracing this are really addressing, looking at all 3 of those perspectives in a consistent manner. So for example, from an employee opinion perspective, they're moving to a far more bite-sized understanding of what their employees and teams are thinking about on a far more regular drumbeat than the traditional employee opinion survey.
I think there's a few things. I think one, there's a lot of interesting commentary around actually how you engage perhaps more junior members of the firm to engage in really value-adding activities for clients and high performance. I think we talk a lot about what's expected of partners, but perhaps not what's expected of the next level down in terms of your senior managers and even more junior people. I think it's interesting to also think about some of the more strategic collaborations that were talked about in terms of client management, and so getting more 360-degree feedback, really focusing on particular matter or engagement types when you're getting feedback both internally from clients internally and from clients too.
We hope this has sparked some fresh ideas for you. If you're interested in hearing more or seeing Compass, our platform that shows how this works in practice, please get in touch.